Well, it's finally time. I literally started recording this the moment I got the damn box, but I've been waiting for the Bigscreen Beyond 2 since January 4th. It's today, July 22nd, bro. Oh my goodness gracious. I am so stoked. I normally don't do unboxings on the channel, obviously, but this one in particular, I've been waiting a long time for. Let me open this bad boy up and hold on real quick. Look at it. The Bigscreen Beyond box. We got the 2 right there. Oh, ooh, baby. I'm so stoked, bro. Let me open this too, bro. Hold on. All right, first things first, bro. Here we go. Let's open it up right there. Ooh. Oh my God, I'm scared to drop this. Hold on. Look at that. Look at that right there, bro. Signed by everyone right there. That's what the box looks like within. It seems like I've seen videos of the first one. I think it's just the same box, I believe. I may be mistaken. But let me open this up right here. Let me take the headset out. Oh my goodness gracious. We need to wipe it down just a bit. Jeez Louise. But this bottom portion right here of the headset, I'm like finding this weird, like, I guess don't grab it there pretty much. But this particular part is like, it's like pushing in a little bit when I grab that specific part. But dude, compared to, you know, the phone, compared to the phone to the Bigscreen Beyond 2, it's small. And by golly, it is light for sure. Again, this is what it looks like. Very nice and very sleek. I did go for the clear shell. I wish they had a pink one or something, or a purple one. Anyways, let's hop on over to this box here and see what we got. Now, I'm extremely curious on what this cushion feels like on the headset. And let me actually show you guys real quick what the box looks like underneath the first layer. It has the straps, these two up here, and then also the little cushion. So let's bring out this little cushion right here and see what's up. It feels, oh my God. It's so weird that it fits to my face perfectly. I'm not sure on the issue of how thick it is just yet. We're gonna have to see when I put it on the headset, but it does feel pretty good in terms of like it touching my face. It looks pretty damn, it feels pretty good to me so far. The cushion, I gotta smell. It smells that bad. I just gotta make sure. Sometimes, man, these things be funky. I thought it would smell funky if I initially put it on, but again, it feels really good so far. Let's go see how it feels when it clanks onto the actual unit itself. Go see. Oh, that is cool. That, oh, like, I see absolute darkness, bro. I cannot see a damn thing. Now, oh, another thing real quick. To compare sizes, actually, here's the difference side by side between the Quest 3 and the BSP 2. It does look really damn good. This thing is ginormously heavy, bro. I'm telling you. The thing I do miss though, and I actually do like it, is to be able to see from underneath this part right here, so you can actually see IRL. I think I'm gonna miss that part, but because this headset is so light, I probably won't have to worry about that too much when I lift it up, but who knows, we'll see. Anyways, that's the size difference between the Quest 3, but geez, you literally see absolute darkness. It's crazy. It's perfectly molded to my face, and I'm not even gassing them up or anything. It's legit. Now the thickness though is what I'm concerned about. Again, that's pretty thick. And I've heard people prefer like closer face cushion or thinner one pretty much. And hopefully that's not the case for me. We'll see. In terms of how it feels so far, it's very promising. Like that scan is absolutely fantastic. So I'm pulling out those other straps on top. This is the back strap pretty much, what I'm gonna put back here. I'm assuming this one's for the top, I'm guessing. I'll figure that out later. Anyways, going on to the next layer. Let's throw this off for a bit. What are these? Oh, look, the little tools in here, bro. Hold on now. Oh, this is what you use to strap the wire into your headset now, so it's like nice and snug. I know before on their previous one, I don't know if it's still here, but that when it snugged onto your wire, that thing was like destroying it pretty much. But this is what the little tool that you can use to adjust the IPD. There you go. Speaking of which, let me adjust the IPD real quick too before we go ahead and do it. See how it goes. Right now it's on 64. I don't know if you guys can tell in the camera. It should be fairly simple to do. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. Oh, just like that. That's so easy to do. It's really easy to do. No problems. I didn't feel like I have to like search for any sort of threading or anything. So that's pretty good. Let me adjust the left eye. Now, another disclaimer as well. This is not going to be any sort of technical review. If you guys are looking for a technical review, this is not the place for it. I'm going to describe it as best as I can compared to the Quest 3, because Quest 3 is the only VR headset I have and I've dabbled with. I have dealt with PSVR 2 like maybe a couple times, but not enough to experience it enough where I could compare the two, right? So this is only strictly between the Quest 3 and the BSV 2. And let's go see what's in the next layer. After that, we got the little box, display box, whatever it's called, link cable box, display box, whatever you may call it. It is labeled as well, so you shouldn't be able to get it mix and match. Data power for one and power for the other. That's pretty cool too. And then the layer below that, we got this bad boy, which is a long cable, of course. USB-C to USB-C. Got that ready to go. Anyways, that was the unboxing, and let's go hop in, bros. I'm excited. There's nothing really much else to say about the unboxing, so we're gonna hop in and let me go set this up and see what we can do. Be right back. All right, and this is what the mic sounds like with the Quest 3, what I currently sound like. Now, this is what the Bigscreen Beyond 2's mic sounds like. This is what it sounds like compared to the Quest 3. Just off the bat, I can definitely tell that there is like some warping going on. When you like look around and stuff, it's very prominent on like the edge of your headset or your lenses that you're gonna see like this warping happening. It's mainly that I see it on the top of my lens more than the bottom, but it's like this curve up here is what I'm seeing the most, where the lens warping is happening. But we're gonna run this game on ultra fidelity editing at 75 hertz. I am again on 100% on Steam VR as well. So this is what running at 3560 by 3560 is what it's showing on Steam VR at 100% native resolution. So we're gonna try it and see if we could run this bad boy. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell there is a lot more denser pixels in there. Obviously because this has more pixel density than compared to the Quest 3. But even like the lack of compression now, because we're not dealing with the streaming to the headset type of stuff, it looks immensely better. Ooh. Now, the thing I did notice about the BSV2, I guess it's good to note as well, is that I'm running this at 57 screen brightness. If I go any higher, it starts blurring like crazy. If you like move your camera, it gets so blurry to the point where it bothers me. Maybe you won't. I know there's some people that actually run this on 100, but maybe it won't bother you, but it does bother me. So it's a little bit dim compared to my Quest 3, what it was currently set at the time. But it's an adjustment period. It's 100% an adjustment period. Another thing I noticed too about the BSV2, I am using just the soft strap itself, but it takes a bit of time to get comfortable with. This particular headset, although the sweet spot is fantastic in my opinion, it does take a little bit of adjusting. Maybe it's like the tightness of the headset or the cushion pressing against my eyes or something, or what.
I'm trying to find the right spot to like make it work, but we'll see how it goes. Let me see this can though. Oh, that's pretty cool. But the colors are really nice and in-depth for sure. Now I was looking at this particular eraser in the Quest 3 just to remember, but yes, again, the colors pop really nice. The depth of the pixels is so deep, bro. Like the pixels, bro, like they're so good. You can definitely tell the difference between compressed image and like straight up DisplayPort because it looks very, very good. Almost too good. It looks very good though. The density of the pixels look really nice. And again, I'm still amazed at how good Half-Life Alyx looks. Bro, it's so dark. The difference in color and the blacks in this game, it feels like real life, bro. Like the OLED is so nice. Oh my god. You guys don't understand like the lighting in this game. Like on the Quest 3, like if I were to look at this particular just wall in general where all the blacks are, like it would feel like grayish where I can still see, right? But on this particular lens, it's pitch black. It's so dark and so scary. I don't even want to go back there. I feel like I'm going into the void, bro. It's crazy. The colors in this game makes it feel really realistic though. Again, I can't speak about it enough. The pixel density is actually pretty impressive. There is obviously a big tell between the Quest 3's PCVR link cable compared to the DisplayPort. Like it's definitely telling when you can put this headset on. You can tell the difference for sure. My god. Also another thing too that I want to point out, I am on 75 hertz, but it doesn't feel like it. Honestly, it feels pretty close to like maybe 80 to 90. But I think with the minimal input delay, like it makes it feel like 75 hertz is maybe like 80 to 90-ish range. It feels really good. You can definitely tell if you like look for it, but in terms of like just me panning the camera around with my right analog stick, it feels really smooth. It feels really smooth. Compared to like 72 hertz on the Quest 3, this is 100% better. Let's go try this out at 90 hertz and see how it feels. And just, dude, the red on this part right here too, my god. I have an OLED monitor, so I'm used to it, but seeing it in VR now, oh man, it makes you really appreciate OLEDs, bro. We're testing out 90 hertz now. Again, 100% native resolution on 90 hertz, so it drops it down to 2688 by 2688 on the resolution, and I believe on 75 hertz it was around like 3712, I believe, somewhere around there. Colors are popping as per usual. Pixels are still nice and dense. I think even on 90 hertz, this is still better just based off the resolution on Steam VR. Even on maxed out on the Meta app and Steam VR 100%, this 100% looks better in terms of pixel density. Oh yeah. Like again, the camera now, from even though it's set to 90, it feels like pretty close to it's not close to 120 actually. I would say like maybe 100 to 110. It compared to Quest 3's 90 hertz to this 100% feels like it's playing some misleading effects right now. Like I feel like it's more frames. It feels really smooth compared to the Quest 3's 90 hertz. It's not like faded, but you can definitely tell why 75 hertz obviously looks better with all the pixels, right? I don't know how to explain it through words, but just looking at it and comparing the two from memory, like you can definitely tell is the best way I could probably explain it. It's not the best explanation, but you can tell for sure. If you're somebody that like really looks out for like the differences between 2K and 4K, I would say it's something that you can probably tell the difference. But it's very small to the point where like I don't it would be just like personal preference at that point. Like, would you prefer more dense pixels or would you prefer the frame rate? And for me, most of the time, I personally would prefer the frame rate. Now, I will say, looking at this again in 90 hertz, I feel like the depth of the black color is like a little bit more lackluster compared to 75 hertz. Maybe it is related to the pixel density again, but it's not enough to break my immersion, and it's still better than the Quest 3s, but it's something I did notice when I was looking at this. Yeah, again, same effect as I mentioned about the deeper black color. Like, I'm starting to see it again here. Like, the less pixels compared to 75 hertz, there is not a big difference, but there is a difference. Like, you can definitely tell. Like before on 75 hertz, it definitely felt a little bit more refined for sure, which again, obviously it makes sense, right? 75 hertz does have more pixel density than 90 hertz, but it's not enough to break my immersion. But I'm just letting you guys know, these are the things I'm noticing as I like continue to look around. What's up, guys? It's been a couple of days now since I've gotten the Bigscreen Beyond 2. So let's go over my overall impressions of the headset, the pros and the cons of what I think about it. And, you know, let's talk about it real quick. First things first, the design of the headset is fantastic. This cushion molded to your face is very, very surreal. Like, it's awesome. Like, it fits perfectly to my face. It's molded to the T, and it's really nice. Like, I have no issues about it. It's easy to clean too. It doesn't smell bad at all, and it's nice. I do wish maybe we could have gotten an alternative for a thinner version of it as well, but as of right now, the FOV is not bad enough for me to complain about it that much. But yeah, this is the closest thing we're gonna get to probably a lightweight small VR headset for a while. I know the Megane X does exist, but it's so expensive. I don't think it's worth the price point. Let alone, I don't even think it's Steam native VR from the top of my head. I don't believe so, at least. So, and you can't even return it, so it's not even worth it to me, at least. Now, in terms of comfort, I only have the soft strap. I don't have the audio strap at all. But the comfort of the strap itself, it does get kind of annoying to put on and to continuously adjust. But in terms of like the headset with the cushion, stuff like that, it's perfectly fine to me. Like, it feels really nice. Again, it's designed to your face, so it shouldn't be an issue at all in terms of comfort. Maybe you will prefer a thinner cushion just to increase your FOV, but besides that, it's very nice and comfortable to me. Maybe I will invest in the audio strap in the future. I'm not sure yet, but I did order the Halo universal mount that they have coming up in the end of this year or sometimes in Q4. So I'll be excited about that, and maybe I'll make another video by then when it does come out. Now for the heat and fan speeds, I do have my fans running at 80% speed. It's not too loud for me, at least. You do hear it, but it's not noticeable enough for me to complain about it. And also too, in terms of like the heat, while you've been wearing it for a long time, you do feel it get a little bit warm, but it's not unbearable enough. Unless you don't have like AC in your room or something like that, maybe I could see it getting pretty unbearable. But it does get a little bit sweaty in here because it's, you know, it's pressed against your face, and you will be uncomfortable for a bit. But it's something to consider, and also it's not too bad overall. Again, it's like slight discomfort. There's not a lot of air getting in there, so you might start sweating pretty fast around where the cushion is contacting your skin. In terms of FOV, I think it's pretty much close or on par with the Quest 3s. I did notice that if I press my face against the cushion even more, I do gain more FOV. So this may be a person-to-person basis, and also it depends on the cushion you get as well. If you get a thinner cushion, you're gonna have more FOV. If I were to compare the two between the Bigscreen Beyond 2 and the Quest 3, I would say it's pretty comparable to be exactly the same. When I first put on the headset, I thought to myself immediately, this feels just as good as the Quest 3 in terms of FOV. Now for binocular overlap as well, in the Quest 3 headset, realistically, when I put on the Bigscreen Beyond 2 compared to the Quest 3, I think it's pretty much the same. To me, I felt like I was just wearing the Quest 3 in terms of like FOV and binocular overlap, just with a lighter weight headset, obviously. So that's a plus for me, at least. Now in terms of the display quality, it's fantastic. Like from 75 hertz to 90 hertz, there is a big difference, because obviously 75 hertz uses 3560 by 3560 on top of my head.
and I think 90 hertz uses around like 2600 on top of my head, by 2600, somewhere around there. It's fantastic. Like the depth of the quality in terms of the images in the VR headset, and the colors are crazy, bro. Everything pops. The reds pops on the OLEDs, and the deep blacks that you see in this headset is crazy. When people talk about how scary it is in the VR headset, when you see like a dark room, it's so realistic and it's so dark, it is crazy. It feels like real life. It's pretty damn scary, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. But there is a big difference between seeing those deep blacks versus the Quest 3. But yeah, overall the colors pop. The difference between DisplayPort versus, you know, Quest 3's link cable compression and stuff like that, all that jazz, there is a big difference. However, I probably would still argue, if you aren't sensitive to those types of things, such as seeing the difference between 2K to 4K, or the difference between 60 FPS versus 120 FPS, if you aren't sensitive to those types of things, then I feel like you probably won't notice it as much, or you might not even justify the price point of this headset compared to the Quest 3. I think some people might be disappointed in that aspect, but that's just maybe a little thought to take in. If you're not sensitive to those types of things, I probably might believe you wouldn't want to justify this headset, but I don't know. That's just my take. Now, in terms of, is it easy to use? In terms of Steam VR, it's pretty much plug and play. I had zero issues with that. The IPD tool that they do give you, it's pretty tedious. If you can't get your IPD correct the first time, you have to take your whole headset off. Although it being light, the soft strap does make it a little bit of a tedious process, but it is a minor inconvenience to compare to the BSB1 users that had to return the whole headset back just to fix their IPD, then have it shipped back to them, and then they have to test if it works again. If it doesn't work, then they have to repeat the process and do it all over again. This tool solves all of that. Like, you can just adjust it on the fly at home without shipping it back to big screen. It's so much better. And again, minor inconvenience, but just a couple of thoughts here about that. The utility app is pretty straightforward as well. All you have to do is just, you know, download the app and use it pretty much. You can adjust the brightness through the app, change the hertz from 75 to 90 without any issues. And once you apply those changes, just restart Steam VR and just boot it back up and try it out and see how it looks. In terms of the brightness of the headset, it is pretty dim. Even from like setting it from 50 to like 80, I found it to be a pretty good sweet spot, because the higher you go in the brightness, you do start to notice motion blur. Only when you're moving your head though. So if you're moving your head back and left and right, back and forth, whatever it may be, you will notice the motion blur. And the higher you go in terms of brightness, the longer it takes to reset focus. So for example, what I noticed is that if I were to do, let's say 50 compared to 100, maybe it would be about like 0.5 to a second where it refocuses. It's very small, short time, but you do notice the difference between like 50 being almost pretty much perfect, close to perfect. You still notice the blur, but it's very less noticeable, and it recovers pretty fast in terms of focus. However, if you go to 100, you will notice, from my understanding, maybe like 0.5 to 1 second, it refocuses back. So I found the sweet spot for me, at least, to be about 80. Again, it's still a pretty dim headset overall, in my opinion. I had my Quest 3 set to 70% brightness, and even then, this headset at 80, or maybe even 100 actually, is still not as bright as a Quest 3 at 70%. So that's another thing to take in as well. If you increase your brightness, and you can go into overdrive as well, increase it more, but again, keep in mind the blur of the motion blur is going to be worse as you increase the brightness. I didn't really notice it as much though if you use your right analog stick to control the camera. If you just hold left or hold right and you just go around and start panning in the game, I didn't notice the blur at all. It's just a standard like camera panning using your analog stick. It's only when you move your head that I really noticed the motion blur. Another thing to mention as well is the lens warping. The first thing I noticed when I put on the headset, it was pretty prominent in terms of like whenever I move my head left and right. If, say for example, this is what I'm looking at and it's just a line here, and I move my head to the left, that line will start warping to the right. Like it's like weird warp to the right that curves like this. It's really weird, and it got me nauseous for the first time. It's really weird, but you do get used to it, and you do forget about it. As you play and as you get yourself immersed, you do forget about those things. Now, in terms of edge-to-edge clarity, I can assure you it's pretty spot on. It's a very small margin around the edge of your lenses where it gets blurry, but if you want to compare it to the Quest 3's edge-to-edge clarity to the BSB 2, you're pretty much not even going to notice it's there. It's so small, and you're going to be able to see everything just fine. I had no issues with looking with my peripherals at all. Now, in terms of the glare, I don't have any issues with it whatsoever. It's there, of course, but it's not enough to blind you. Even when I was watching a movie, for example, in a dark big screen theater, I only really noticed it being annoying if there's like, if you're in a dark scene and there's like flashlights happening. That's probably where it gets a little bit annoying, and if you're constantly in that scene, it's just constantly there at the bottom of your lens. But besides that, it's not really a big deal for me, at least. Now, another thing too, before you buy the Bigscreen Beyond, is to make sure your PC can handle it. I have a 4090 i9 14900K in here, and it's obviously a very beefy PC, and even then, running games at 75 Hz at 100% native resolution can be pretty stressful, especially if you're trying to crank it to make it look nice. I am very big on not downscaling at all, because I feel like if you downscale, it just makes everything look ugly as hell. So I would just keep that in mind when you buy this headset, to get a beefy PC. And if you're planning to do a single PC setup with streaming and recording, and if you have like a 4090, for example, if you're in my situation, you might have a bad time as well. But again, it could be offset by what do you want to compensate for, like quality in your streaming or recording, or quality of the game. So just a thought to keep in mind as well when you buy this headset. Now, would I say this is justifiable by the price? I would say it is. Okay, there's a couple situations here. If you were to ask me to upgrade from the Index to the Bigscreen Beyond 2, I would 100% say yes. If you were to ask me to go from Quest 3 to Bigscreen Beyond 2 and you had no base stations, you had no Index controllers, I would 100% not recommend this headset unless you have the money to spare, and also if you have any sort of Quest 3 issues on your current PC that you cannot figure out for the life of you. I've had some issues with my Quest 3 in terms of my PC due to the fact with so many updates with Meta, so many updates with the headset. So this is why I decided to go with the Bigscreen Beyond 2, because also having a Steam native VR headset is so much better than dealing with the Oculus debug tool. My golly, do not ask me about that shitty ass app ever again. The Meta app and the Oculus debug tool are absolutely terrible to me, at least. And another situation too, if you were to ask me for a first time VR headset, I would 100% steer you to the Quest 3. No questions about that either. If you were to have a first time VR headset, go for the Quest 3. It's more affordable, it has inside out tracking, and it's definitely a good first step into the VR space. So those are the situations on when I would justify buying the Bigscreen Beyond 2. That's my take on it, at least. Now, I just want to go over my first impressions overall though, as I was using the headset. I thought the headset absolutely sucked. One, the lens warping threw me off. It kind of got me nauseous for a bit, I'm not gonna lie. Things just didn't feel right to me. At a point I was thinking, I'm like, man, the Quest 3 is starting to not look that bad compared to this headset, especially for the price point. But once I like found the right spot on my face, tweaked the settings and stuff like that, I started to appreciate everything about the headset. The colors were popping, the deep blacks were super satisfying, the OLED panels are really good, the display port is really good. Not dealing with the Meta app and the Oculus debug tool is so much better. But yeah, I can see why some people may have a bad first impression on like maybe the first couple of days, maybe the first few hours. But as you keep working with it and trying to understand the headset a little bit more, you start to understand why this headset costs this much. You start to understand why this headset is so damn good. Maybe this is the same for others. Maybe some people are just jaw dropped immediately when they put on the headset, but for my instance at the time when I first put it on, I thought it did suck, I'm not gonna lie. But as I've been dabbling with it for the past couple of days, it's a pretty damn good headset. And I've already mentioned to you guys the situations where I would probably recommend buying this headset. But if you're a first-time VR consumer and you're trying to figure out if you want to get this headset versus the Quest 3, I would 100% steer you to the Quest 3 first, especially if it's your first time playing VR in general or your first purchase in VR. Go for the Quest 3, right? Overall, this is going to be my daily driver moving forward for PC VR gaming. I'm probably only ever going to use the Quest 3 if I want to share it with like family members or something, or if I want to play any standalone games that are coming out just specifically for Quest 3. But that's probably the only time I'm ever going to use it. Anyways, if I miss any topics, or if you guys want to ask me in the comments below on certain things, maybe I'll try my best to answer all of them. And I'll probably have a follow-up video when I do get the Halo mount. And whenever that comes in, I'll probably follow up again and let you guys know how I'm feeling about the headset. Am I still using it? And we'll see where we go from there, yeah? Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out, guys.